The events of today with Tom Menino passing on, the candidates of major races have suspended their campaigns. However, Maura Healey has said that she could not attend tonight's debate, but she will be in Lowell tomorrow. Okay, so she said she's going to be in Lowell tomorrow to meet the people. There will not be any debate. But John Miller was gracious enough, even from his very busy day, to come up here today to at least talk to you for a few minutes. So I just hope that you would stay in your seats, listen to Mr. Miller as he talks a little about his campaign, and if you want to ask any questions. But I think as Lowellians, we all want to hear from the candidates, and we did have a scheduled debate. Unfortunately, the campaigns have suspended activity for most of the weekend, but Mr. Miller was gracious enough to come up here and speak to us. So please, let's hear Mr. Miller. Thank you, John.
It's great to be here, thank you. My wife, Joan, and I were very sorry to hear about the death of Mayor Menino. Our thoughts are with his family, his wife, Angela, and their 2 kids. The energy he brought, I've seen Mayor Menino. I'm in the construction industry a little bit, a construction lawyer. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that last piece of steel go into a building in Boston that had Mayor Menino's signature on it. So he was quite a very energetic mayor, and always looking out for the people of Boston. God bless him, and may he rest in peace. Thank you, Jim, for the opportunity to be here. It's great to be on a college campus. I'm reminded. I was telling Jim that 25 years ago I was up here in a lab with Stephen Petrie, who was in your plastics engineering department, and he saved one of my clients who was involved in a very big litigation, a 20-day trial. And Stephen Petrie was great. I also used to come up to Wang all the time. When I was a young lawyer, we represented Wang Labs, and I was coming up the old Route 3 before it got widened, and it was always an adventure. As it is still, it still seems to be an adventure. You never know what's going to happen to you. So thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here. I'm going to be very short because time is short. You can learn more about my background on our website. It's millerforag.com, Forag.com. Let me just tell you a little bit very quickly about our campaign and what I'm trying to do in my run for Attorney General. 6 million of us want impartial justice from the Attorney General's office. All of us want that. And that's the job. And any experienced trial attorney in this state, and I claim to be one of those experienced trial attorneys. I've been practicing law for 36 years. But I'm not the only impartial trial attorney that could deliver impartial justice in this state. But we're not getting it now. And my belief is that for the last 24 years, we've kind of watched a farm system grow up around the Attorney General's office. It's a progression from the DA to the Attorney General, and then you're preparing yourself to run for governor. And one of the things I've learned from practicing law for 36 years, if you don't remember who the client is, and you take your eyes off the client, and the client is the people of this state, you lose your way, you make mistakes. And when you're running for governor and trying to be the Attorney General, I think that's a recipe for problems. I call this a political farm system. It's AAA ball. And I think politicians who have joined the farm system have already made the wrong choice, because they think they can balance their own political future with the legal interests of 6 million citizens of Massachusetts. There's nothing worse than a lawyer who confuses your interests, the client's interest, with his own. I will never be in the farm system. I don't want to be governor. The first time I said that, Charlie Baker looked at me like there was something wrong with me. Because for 50 years, the Attorney General has eventually run for governor. I think it's a conflict. I'm the lawyer. I may be the only lawyer in the state who doesn't need to be governor, but who wants to do the job as your Attorney General. In the real world, off Beacon Hill, That's natural for every lawyer. I've never met a client who asked me what my political party was. Never, in 36 years of practicing law. In the real world, the client is first, or you lose your client. On Beacon Hill, in the farm system, there's always another political job. Thank you for being here. It's very nice of you to let me come. I really appreciate it, Jim. I wish my opponent had chosen to come, because I think voters need and deserve an opportunity to compare candidates head to head. I've been a successful, well-known, actually known around the country, trial lawyer for 36 years. As Attorney General, I'll bring a professional, not a political approach to the job. And I'll work for all 6 million people. All of you deserve to believe that your Attorney General is going to impartially apply the law to everyone. I'll relentlessly fight public corruption, fraud, and abuse of your tax dollars. You know, if you're in the farm system, sometimes you're willing to overlook the foibles and the mistakes of your fellow people on Beacon Hill because you need their support later on in your run for governor. And I think we've seen some of that in the last few days, and it's very, very disturbing to me. I will never be confused about that. I'll protect every citizen's civil rights and their privacy rights. I'm very concerned about the privacy associated with cell phones and cell phone use, internet data. There's so much that needs to be done on your behalf, on behalf of 6 million citizens of this state. I'll fight crime with 21st century technology. I didn't tell you, but I've spent a lot of time, I'm an MIT kid, you know, I'm a city kid who got a scholarship to go to MIT, and you know, it changes you. I think I've almost gotten over being an MIT guy. But I'll attack systematically ID theft and internet crime. We're way behind. We're using 19th century technology against the bad guys. There are people overseas that have rings in countries in other continents that will come down and find you and find your habits and figure out how to steal from you. And it's time we upgraded the systems to combat that. It's time we had an AG who wants to do the job and not have a title in the farm system. I ask for your vote on November 4th. Thanks again. Thanks so much to the University of Mass at Lowell for having me. It's very nice to be here. I'm always at home on a college campus. My father told me you could never get enough education, but in my case, he eventually changed his mind and said, enough, go to work. So thank you so much for having me. I ask for your vote on November 4th. Be happy.
Good. Any questions?
Would you stand about Lowell and
Well, I'm very, you know, my wife is a very senior doc at Mass Eye. I'm very concerned about our capacity to handle cases. So I think the major hospitals in Boston, for example, could probably handle 10, 12, 14 cases, each of which requires 45 people and staff. So I think we have to really be tough on the medical side and make sure that we're doing right medically and not let this be driven by politics. I'm very concerned about it. But I think we obviously have the best healthcare professionals in the world, you know, right here, and we can all do this, but we have to be sober. You know, my grandfather's first wife, my grandfather went to work in the morning in 1918. He came home, his first wife was dead from the flu. So I think we have to be smart and take care of each other in this instance.
Any other questions from the audience? Well, John, I want to thank you very much for coming here. And
Very kind to have you.
I want to thank Freddie Bahu and Roddy Mom for their energetic debate. And then now it's up to you. I hope you vote on November 4th. Thank you very much for coming.